trapped by his own addiction.
I'm sitting there saying to myself, I know I'm not supposed to be. Why am I here? Am I here to die?
Find out how his question was answered. Plus, New York Times bestselling author Max Lucado shares the most underlined passage in the Bible and how to avoid life's anxiety on today's 700 Club Interactive. Well, welcome to the show. As cleanup continues in the wake of Hurricanes Irma and Harvey, stories like this one continue to surface. 13-year-old Virgil Smith's home in Dickinson, Texas, was flooded due to Hurricane Harvey. While taking shelter at a neighbor's second-floor apartment, Virgil got a desperate call for help from his friend. Well, the 13-year-old then swam back to his apartment through the floodwaters, picked up an air mattress, and began rescuing his neighbors, 17 in total.
Help, help. And we're like, we got you.
All I'm thinking about is just, I know he's able to save, he can rescue, he can swim. And I just had faith in the Lord that everything was going to be all right.
He was like, VJ, can you come help us? Because you know that we can't swim. I thank God like that no snakes or no alligators didn't bite us.
Way to go, Virgil. That's a wonderful thing to do. And heroes are coming out of these tragedies. Well, some Texans have lived in the same place for decades, and they never had to deal with flooded homes until Harvey. When the hurricane hit, they had to flee, and they were shocked by what they saw when they returned.
When the relentless rain of Hurricane Harvey caused catastrophic flooding in East Texas, most victims had never seen anything like it.
I was here in this house, and I've lived here for 50 years, and never had any water come even into my yard, much less into my house.
A small, steady stream flows in front of Leroy's curb, but at the height of the storm, it reached 6 feet in his family home where he raised his kids and up until a few weeks ago, hosted his 7 grandchildren.
Leroy's son Joseph remembers the terrifying night when the water wouldn't stop rising.
He didn't have much time at all. You know, before he knew it, it was like midways of the driveway. Next thing he knew, it was coming up into the garage and having to be evacuated.
Eventually, the police and some people come in and said, you got to get out. You got a few minutes, we're going to go see the other houses, come by and pick you up. So I just grabbed what I could.
Everything left behind was destroyed. When the floodwaters receded, Operation Blessing sprung into action.
I had no idea you guys were coming. So seeing you, makes you believe. Never lose faith.
Removing waterlogged carpets and knocking out molding walls, Operation Blessing volunteers helped turn a nightmare into a chance for renewed faith.
There's more good people than I thought there was. I mean, it's just everybody's just been so helpful here. Oh, I mean, I'm just overwhelmed. I can't say the right words to even come close to expressing how grateful I am.
And thank you. If you're part of the 700 Club, you're part of that relief effort. If you're not a member, we encourage you to join. But right now, we encourage you to be a part of the Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund. That's a designated fund where 100% of your gift will go into disaster relief. So whether it's Irma in Florida, Harvey in Texas, or this brand new storm bearing down Maria, you're a part of it. And we need to have support in order to make it possible to help people in their time of need. So if you want to be a part, all you have to do is call us, 1-800-700-7000, and say, I want to be a part of giving to the Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund. If you want to write a check, just put Operation Blessing Disaster in the memo line. There's also a place on the website and on the Operation Blessing website where you can designate your gift. So any way you choose, do it now. 1-800-700-7000. Well, 3-year-old Camden Whidden has faced adversity since the day he was born. Due to a rare birth defect, Camden was born without arms or legs However, that doesn't stop him from being a blessing to his mom and younger siblings. Take a look. It's an amazing video. Well, Camden's mother said she's amazed by his determination and his ability. And you can see here in this post on Instagram, she says, "So in love with my fearfully and wonderfully made boys." And what a testament to life. Let's have life and have it more abundantly. Well, college football season is just a few weeks old and has already given us a great story. The University of Iowa has a new family children's hospital built overlooking the Hawkeye Stadium. Well, during the team's home opener, patients gathered together to watch the game, and that's when something special happened. After the end of the first quarter, in hopes of encouraging the children and their families, 70,000 fans turned in unison to wave hello. Well, university officials hope this will become a new tradition, and the undefeated Iowa Hawkeyes now host a big game this weekend. They're taking on number 4 Penn State, and we wish them all the best. But what a wonderful thing to do. Well, up next, it's the most underlined passage in the Bible. What is it? New York Times bestselling author Max Lucado joins us in the studio with the answer. Don't go away. An estimated 40 million American adults suffer from anxiety disorders. Well, how do we find calm in a chaotic world? New York Times bestselling author Max Lucado has the answer.
Best-selling author Max Lucado says chances are you or someone you know struggles with anxiety. But he says there are ways to deal with all the worries of life.
A new day awaits you, my friend. A new season in which you will worry less and trust more. Reduced fear and enhanced faith.
In his latest book, Anxious for Nothing, Max provides a roadmap to worry-free living and offers practical tips to finding calm in a chaotic world.
Well, Max Lucado joins us now. We teased it, so I've got to ask the question, what's the most underlined verse in the Bible?
I couldn't help but notice the fella fishing in the video there. I thought he doesn't have any anxiety.
He doesn't have a care in the world. You want calm, go fishing.
That's right. Well, Philippians 4, verses 6 and 7, according to Kindle, the downloadable books procedure, they measure what is the most downloaded book and then what's the most underlined part of that book. And according to them, Philippians 4, 6, and 7 is the most underlined passage of any book anywhere in the world.
That is surprising to me.
Yeah.
And,
is it?
I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why, but I guess in modern culture, we are anxious a lot. The pace of life, the pace of technological change, the pace of any kind of change, it's just everything seems to be accelerating.
It does, doesn't it? I've read that there have been more changes in the last 30 years than in the last 300 combined. You know, just even today, somebody was asking me, are you going to get the new phone? I thought, what, there's a new phone? I can't keep up. I'm barely learning how to use the phone I have.
My smartphone makes me seem dumb. I like using it, but sometimes I don't understand what it's doing.
Yeah, it's a frantic pace. And also there's just the issue of we're bombarded by news updates. And news is by nature negative, and so if I'm getting alerts throughout the day that of a new development or potential war, nuclear conflict, North Korea, and now hurricanes, we feel like we're every time we turn around, there's something else that's negative that's happening. And our ancestors didn't deal with that. You know, if 100 years ago or 50 years ago, if you heard news, it was once a week or maybe once a day, depending on where you lived.
And once a decade.
Once a decade, yeah. And you never heard what was happening in Nepal or in Australia, but now it's just all over. So we got to learn how to deal with it.
So how do we deal with it?
Yeah.
I mean, we all understand be anxious for nothing.
Right.
And we realize that's a goal. But I can confess in my life sometimes that I can know that intellectually, but in my heart, I'm anxious.
Exactly.
So how do you get through it?
The real measure there, the passage, be anxious for nothing. The better translation, I think, is do not allow yourself to be in a state of perpetual anxiety. In other words, don't let yourself be sucked into the quicksand of anxiety. And the Apostle Paul, writing this epistle in the book of Philippians, we've come to nickname it the Epistle of Joy. Even though he was in prison, he didn't make one complaint, but he says, first of all, celebrate God, rejoice in the Lord. Then ask God for help, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and petition, let your requests be made known to God. And then with thanksgiving, and so that's the idea of leaving it with God. We're thankful, we're going to turn it over to Him. And then we're going to meditate on good things. And then He gives 9 virtues to meditate on. In other words, as you remove the anxiety out of your brain, don't leave it empty, turn and start to meditate on things that are true and good and noble and so forth. And so he celebrate God, ask God for help, leave your concerns with Him, meditate on good things, CALM.
Why is Thanksgiving so important?
That's a great question.
Because I know in my prayer life, I had a real realization God inhabits the praises of His people.
Yeah.
He doesn't inhabit your complaints. I mean, you're encouraged to pour out your complaint, but don't expect God to inhabit that. Why is Thanksgiving so important?
Well, the heart cannot at one time house anxiety and gratitude. One moves the other out, and gratitude always wins. A great exercise in dealing with anxiety is to turn away from what's troubling you and make a list of the blessings that you have. By the time you write 10 things down that you're thankful for, you'll find the anxiety is diminishing, maybe even exiting, because they can't share the same heart. There's something about gratitude and anxiety. They don't get along. And gratitude always shows the door to anxiety.
Why, when we're in the stress, why do we not go to God with it? Because I think another key, and the key in your book is that, let your requests be made known. How do we overcome the tendency to, I've got to manage this, or I've got to deal with this, or I've got to worry about this?
Yeah. I think it's a learned skill, Gordon. I think it's a challenge that we all face. I know I face it, and that is I want to fix things myself, or I feel like it's all up to me. The Bible is sugared or seasoned with these promises, like cast all your cares upon Him because He cares for you. This one that we're studying here, be anxious for nothing, but by prayer and petition, let your everything be made known to God. So the habit we can develop is the second we begin to feel that anxiety, whatever it is in your body or my body, for me it's my neck gets tight. The second I feel that, I need to say, okay, Lord, I'm going to give this to you before it gets to me.
Why don't more people get this? I hear continually, I'm stressed out. I hear that a lot, and it really, it's one of those things when I hear that, it imparts to me because I start worrying about them.
Yeah. And don't we desire not to be that way? I don't know anybody who says, I can't wait to get more anxious. We all want to find a way to deal with it. And I think it's a real situation in our culture. I just have a hunch that the division in our culture, this polarization in our culture, anxiety creates combative people, and consequently, if we find it difficult to have important dialogues about very important topics, because I fear that somebody's going to disagree with me or prove me wrong. But if I'm confident that God is a good God and God is in control and He's going to lead us all through this, that opens the door, I think, to more increased dialogue and conversation.
Can you do a Bible study on Capitol Hill? I think we need it.
Maybe
we need to have a prayer meeting with Republicans and Democrats and say, here's how we can get there.
Even on, I'm not a great social media guru, but I do Facebook. I do these messages on Facebook, and I've noticed that there's so many trigger points with people. And they can't just say, I disagree. They've got to tell you how bad you are, you know.
They got to shred you.
They got to shred you. So it's an angry world we live in. And I'm trying to trace that. Where does all that come from? It has to do some with this, just this anxiety that's settled upon us. But
well, let's talk about the end of it, and may the peace of God come and guard your heart and mind. Why do we tend to block that? Because I know in my life, when I'm trying to get to that, it's almost like I resist His peace.
do you?
There was one time I was praying, and I was pouring out my complaint, and this was before I realized He doesn't inhabit those, but He's still there. In Him we live and move and have our being, and just that still small voice, but I am with you. And I wanted to argue with it. You know, it's like, well, you know, don't you understand? But I am with you. And that should have brought all the peace I needed. But at that moment, I wanted to resist it. Why do we do that?
Yeah, we want a solution when God just wants to give us His presence, right? And that's part of the promise there. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say you rejoice. Let your gentleness be made evident to all, because the Lord is near. And so the apostle, I think, is saying sometimes God doesn't give you a solution. He doesn't disentangle the problem. He just says, I'll walk with you through it. I'm in the middle of it with you.
And Paul's speaking from experience. He's gone through all kinds of, and he's writing from a prison cell. And he's saying, I have found the secret to contentment.
Yeah, and he had reason to complain, didn't he? I mean, apparently churches are squabbling. They're not quite getting along. He's wondering if some of them are going to make it. And he has no guarantee that he's going to make it out of prison ever.
Actually, he has a guarantee he's not.
Yeah, and so he's got plenty of room to complain, but he doesn't. He chooses to.
He's not saying, God, you're not running the universe right. He's saying all things are going to work out. I trust Him.
Anxiety is a default emotion, I think, Gordon. I think we don't have to decide I'm going to be anxious. We do have to decide I'm going to have faith. And so we go to anxiety without a decision. It's just kind of the natural course we take. But we do have to decide, okay, today I'm going to do my best to be a person of peace. And every time I have a problem, I'm going to give it to God.
Good word and great book. I encourage you to get it. If you're one of the many stressed out Americans, this book is for you. And it's called Anxious for Nothing. And it's available wherever books are sold. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, coming up, his love for crack cocaine meant he lived a few simple rules, including staying far away from a mirror.
You never look in the mirror. The mirror tells the tale. No one looks in the mirror. No one.
Don't want to miss Joel's radical transformation when we return. Joel smoked his first joint when he was just 8 years old. From then on, pot was his life as he smoked it before, during, after school. And over the years, Joel's drug use escalated into a full-blown crack cocaine addiction until he couldn't even bear to look in a mirror.
My ribs are showing. My whole bottom jaw is sucked in. I don't even want to use the bathroom and ever look in the mirror. I'm not going to look in the mirror at myself. You never look in the mirror. The mirror tells the tale. No one looks in the mirror. No one.
Joel's addiction took him to the depths of despair, living in a crack house. His painful journey began as a child when his parents divorced.
There was more peace in the woods with my dogs than anything I'm going to find in that house. And so I learned to get comfortable with being alone and not trying to put a whole lot of reliability on other people's affection, love, and care, because I just learned to stop trusting it.
Joel stayed with his mother, who suffered from mental illness. Because she was a Christian, he blamed God for her inability to love and care for him.
For days, she would sit at our kitchen table and not move, not eating, not taking care of her hygiene, complete catatonia. My attempts to be heard or to feel and receive love from my mother, she was incapable of giving it.
He covered his emotional turmoil by smoking pot, a habit he started when he was just 8 years old.
And what it immediately did is took all that emotional dysregulation and angst and sadness and went boop, And I went, wow, there is a reason to live. And so I loved it. I was smoking marijuana 3 times a day, before, during, and after school. And next thing you know, it was just a lifestyle. It's just what I did to not really have to feel. I don't want to get back to feeling. If I start feeling, what am I going to do with all that?
When Joel was in his 20s, marijuana became the gateway to harder drugs.
All it took was one time. I had roommates that did crack cocaine. I said, I'll try it. And that's when the whirlwind started. Once the crack came, it was almost overnight that this is what is now going to start running the show.
His new addiction consumed every part of his life and soul.
Go into that horrible cycle of hustling, copying, getting high, and trying to avoid the consequences. Hustling, copying, getting all day long. And the only time you're going to go to sleep is when you are completely devastated in all your own resources. You can't get any more. The dealer is out and there's no dealers available, or you've ripped off everything from anybody you can steal from that day. You don't believe for good things. You don't believe that hope is on the horizon. Emotional bankruptcy. My love tank was empty. There was no one filling that. Every relationship I was in it to what I could get out of it. I'm not going to deliver you my heart and have you be a bad steward of my heart again. No one's evidence they're a good steward.
Joel worked off and on to support his habit, but after 20 years of addiction, he moved into a crack house and started running drugs.
A crack house culture is me trying to help you find your wallet and it's in my back pocket. That's how it works in a crack house. I was always convinced the police were coming. I'd be looking out the window, I'd be quiet, I'd freeze and not make any movement. Total devastation, total isolation. I'm sitting there saying to myself, I know I'm not supposed to be. Why am I here? Am I here to die? Is that why I've come here? You're looking up at nothing because you believe in nothing. I don't have any source. I don't believe in anything. And so I don't know where I'm looking. And I'm asking these questions into this ethereal place where there's not going to be any answers. And so realizing I think I'm here to die. Death's a relief. We talk about overdosing and having a heart attack smoking crack. And I would think to myself, that's the resolve.
In desperation, his family made one last attempt to pull him out.
Man, they just kept calling. And then finally my sister did a rescue mission. And she rounded up friends of mine and said, we're coming to get you.
They took him to Teen Challenge, a Christian recovery program for drug addicts. A few weeks into the program, Joel poured out his anger at God.
I said, I don't know who you are, and I cursed him out. I won't go into the expletives, and shook a fist at him with all the where were yous. And there was a weird part of me that felt like somebody was listening. I had never heard anybody listening. And the first thing I heard God saying, I was there always with you in all of it. I was right by your side. Matter of fact, I sustained you for a day such as this. By the end of it, I was on the floor in a pool of tears, body surfing on those tears all the way to the feet of Jesus. And I've never turned back.
Joel surrendered his life to Christ and completed rehabilitation. Sober for 13 years, he is now married and completing a doctorate in addiction counseling. He works with Teen Challenge, helping others find wholeness and restoration through Jesus Christ. But most of all, he is grateful for a healed heart that has learned to trust God.
It was an exchange of identities, and it was nothing less than supernatural. There's a knowing about who I am as a human being I've never had. I could be vulnerable with God. I could have him, he's in the room wherever I go, sometime in feeling, but always in knowing. And I never had that. I never had a knowing of something caring for me. Every relationship we've ever been in with takes a certain level of risk. But entering into the risk with Jesus and finding out there was none is the reward. There's never a risk. He promises to never leave me or forsake me.
That promise is for you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. He has been walking with you all this time. In him we live and move and have our being. And yes, he is a God who answers prayer. He is a God who listens. He is a God who is with you. Now, to get this, to get released, to get what Joel found, it's very simple, same way. Ask for it. Ask him. Ask him. And if you've got issues, where were you? Why did these things happen? Ask Him, ask Him. He is the answer to every human need. All you have to do is ask. Call to me, and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things. If you want to help with prayer, we're here for you. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call us, 1-800-700-7000. Here's a word from Hebrews. For every house is built by someone, but He who built all things is God. God bless you. We'll see you again.